Well, all right. Welcome back to As It Should Be. Paul Berlino here in the world famous As It Should Be studios.
World famous.
Mm-hmm. World famous with the world famous Crystal Durant.
Yep.
I'm world famous.
World famous Tommy Von Voigt.
Here in the world famous As It Should Be studios. If you don't know about the world famous As It Should Be studios, the problem is you.
Yeah,
basically.
Exactly. Where have you been? You've been under a rock? You've been under... You haven't been under any rock, that's for sure, but you've been under a rock.
This show does not air under rocks.
Yeah.
So this is really, again, on you.
Yeah. Show on the rocks.
Ain't no
It'll be a surprise.
Pour me a drink and I'll tell you some lies.
But I'm also going to tell you this. We're going to be discussing our favorite live albums of 1976. Right here, right now. And I'm not talking about Jesus Jones.
No.
All right, and Crystal begins.
Jesus Jones.
For the record, he's never talking about Jesus.
Jesus
I've never,
Jones.
yeah, I mean, that's as a rule, as a general rule.
Yes,
Not
it's
ever.
a blanket rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, it's 1976, the bicentennial year. And, well, there's some Star Spangled things on here. All right, I got a runner-up, and that is Iggy and the Stooges' Metallic K.O.
I guarantee Tommy loves that one.
Oh, did you see his face? It's like he was ready to vomit.
Go on.
So it was their infamous final show where the fans in Michigan Palace threw beer bottles and eggs and everything at them, and Iggy loved it. And Louie Louie was their final song.
It's come to this.
So in a kooky, weird way, it's a runner-up for me. I salute the audacity of doing it, getting up there and Iggy just absorbing it all and just like woohoo, just being a kook. All right, so here's my list. Coming in at number 5, I have Live Bullet by
the Sieg, dude.
by the Sieg. Yes, Mr. Seeger and the Silver Bullet Band. Turn the page. Turn the page.
Up on the stage, man.
So good. I mean, what the fuck? He covered Bo Diddley, covered Chuck Berry, Ike and Tina Turner, like old Black Soul stuff, which was great. And I've probably said this before, but I feel as though Bob Seger is woefully underappreciated and underrated as a musician and a singer and songwriter. I think he's fantastic. You know, there are a couple of songs that he's been ruined by, in particular, you know, Like a Rock.
Oh, God. Ooh.
Like a rock. And,
Oh, boy.
you know, you sell it to a fucking truck company. What do you expect? And then, you know, old time rock and roll. I could never hear that for the rest of my life and beyond. I could be a vampire and live for 500 more years and would never want to hear that song again.
No.
But his other stuff is fucking fantastic. I love Bob Seger. And I did see him live, not on this tour, but the other one after this, and he was great. Bob Seger is great. He is I'm sure people have said the Midwest Springsteen. That's who he is. He really is. He's the Midwest Springsteen. Coming in at number 4, I have Live at the Palladium by the Carpenters. So it's Karen Carpenter and Richard Carpenter singing Carpenter songs live. The end. Coming in at number 3. Number 3, I have the most... You guys are looking at me because you know what I'm going to say. It's the most ubiquitous live album in the history of recorded music. And that is Frampton Comes Alive.
You don't say.
Yeah. So when I first started hanging out with Paul 12, 13 years ago, whatever it was, and we go record shopping and walking through record stores and whatever, the joke was, how many copies of this record could you find in that store? And undoubtedly, there was at least 5 every single time.
Well, I would go through and I would pull them out and put them at the front of every row.
Stack, yeah.
And then we'd come back around and somebody had taken them out.
And put them back, and then we'd do it again, yeah. It's a live album that you cannot escape. They still play it on classic rock stations. It's been referenced a million times. It is the rumors of live albums. You know, everybody, well, mostly everybody has owned it. You know, it is what it is. Coming in at number 2, I have two. I have Wings Across America. which is by Wings, that other band that Paul McCartney started, the one with his wife and some other people. So there are 5 Beatles songs on this record, and he changed the songwriting credit to McCartney-Lennon. A lot of people don't know that, but he did that.
Which he's been dying to do officially, but Yoko won't allow it.
Yoko won't let it happen. Which I think, why did he do that? To me, it's kind of like.
I think there are certain songs of his that I think it kind of burns him. Like, Yesterday, Lennon had
nothing to do with
zero to do with that.
Yeah.
And not only is his name on it, but his name is first.
Right.
I can see where he's probably kind of a little.
Yeah, but you know what? This is what you agreed to, so suck it up, Buttercup.
But he agreed to it when he was in his 20s.
Yeah,
So?
before he knew. Well, and also when they.
But they never changed it.
But the thing is, when they agreed to that, they were a team. So I think at that time they saw it that they would always be writing songs together.
Yeah.
And that quickly kind of turned into them just writing songs.
They
and
had
every once
plenty
in a
of
while,
time to change
one of them
it.
would give the other an idea
Plenty
for
of
a
time
bit.
to change it.
Yeah, they
didn't change
technically
it.
did have plenty of time to change it, and during that time period, they weren't getting along, and then there was Alan Klein getting involved and fucking
yeah,
everything
Alan Klein,
up, and then
yeah.
their relationship was strained in the 70s, and then he died. As a songwriter myself, I understand why it might burn him up a little bit.
I get it.
But that said, though, I mean, McCartney has got to realize that we all know.
We know.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, it's really just an official thing. We actually all know.
We know whose songs are whose.
We know what's what.
What's what?
so-
And it's like, it's not like you were broke and you missed out on some money. I mean,
Well, it's definitely not about money. It's
Come
like
on.
it's something that's in his heart, Like,
Yeah.
you're like, damn, this is my fucking song. This is my.
I get it. It just doesn't sit well with me. But anyway, my number 1 live album of 1976 is it is Heavy Weather by Weather Report.
Weather Report back again.
They're back all the time. And this version, it was Wayne Shorter, Jaco Pastorius. Fucking brilliant. I think it is the pinnacle of Weather Report. Live or studio. It's just amazing. It's transcendent. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It is Heavy Weather.
Okay.
Get on it if you haven't been yet. Tommy will not. So I'm looking to you, our audience.
To get on it.
Dear watcher, dear listener, please get on it and then say something in the comments. Please tell me if you like it.
Okay, all right. Here we go. All right, yeah. Yeah. All right, it's time for an ad. Oh, yeah.
When I helped design my line of AMF Roadmaster wheels, I said make them red, white, and blue to bear my name, Evel Knievel. You can see they're built solid, flashy, and hip, and the bikes come with these safety tips that bear my name, Evel Knievel. So if your kids are thrilled, I know just how they feel. These wheels are real exciting and bear my name, Evel Knievel.
Oh, hey.
All right, we're back.
Yeah, it's Paul's time.
All right. Okay, I guess it's me now.
It is you. It is me. It is
Why you?
you.
Okay. All right. So I have I have a mention. I have a mention. Rush, All the World's a Stage. Now I have it merely as a mention because I like Rush. I like the songs and their performance is good. That record sounds terrible.
That's why I didn't even touch it.
It sounds like it sounds like somebody recorded it from the other room.
In a tin can.
In a tin can. There's no bass to speak of in this record. It's like no bass on a record with Geddy Lee on it.
Yeah.
Obviously their performance is great, but who the fuck recorded this shit?
And why didn't they fix it?
And why didn't they go, okay, this doesn't sound good, let's record the
do
next
something
night.
else.
you
Yeah.
know, or something,
It was not.
But that's the only issue I have with it, and that's why it's merely a mention. Everything else about it is great,
Yeah.
But yeah.
You noticed that, right?
So
Tommy?
number 5.
Yeah.
Number 5. Tower of Power live and in living color.
Ooh, what is hip? Yeah. that's a good
Yeah.
one.
Now the thing about this record is, unfortunately, it has the same issue that the 3 Degrees album has. They also had a revolving door of a lead vocalist, and the guy who's singing, I don't even know who the fuck the guy is who's singing live on this. I don't even know what his name is. Nothing. I don't know which studio album he's on. They're just at this point where it's past where I really know what they're doing. But I checked out the record, and it's just 5 songs, and it's just boom, all the exact 5 fucking songs you want to hear. There's no bullshit. There's no cover. It's what is hip. It's down at the nightclub. It's you're still a young man. It's just boom, 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 and
that's
it's
enough.
some other rando singing the song, but the band still absolutely smokes.
Yeah.
But all right, number 4. Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band with Live Bullets.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Bob Seger fan, really, but that's a good record.
It's a really good
That
record.
is a good live record. I mean, I don't ever need to hear fucking Turn the Page again for the rest of my life, but I mean, really, they played the fuck
They did.
out of that on the radio.
They did, and I'm the idiot, the one person who liked the cover, Metallica cover.
Oh.
I said that just to make people mad.
All right.
I didn't like it.
But that aside, the issues with that aside, it's a good live album.
Yes.
And Tommy disagrees. But number 3, I can see in my peripheral vision that Tommy disagrees. But number 3, an album that I had at the time. I got this record at the time because I was such a big fan in Elton John, Here and There.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which one side is him at MSG here, and the other side is him in England. I don't remember the venue. Is it Wembley?
Wembley.
Yeah. And there are 2. It's since been released on CD with each complete show. It's actually a double disc, where one disc is the entire MSG show and the other disc is the entire Wembley, which is great. But at the time, it came out as a single disc with each side being a separate thing. And the thing about this record is that I remember when it came out, and my aunt Darlene was playing it. She had it, and the opening track on, I don't know if it's which side it is, but it's the probably the British side. He opens up with Skyline Pigeon. And I had never heard that song before. Because I didn't know. I'm like 6.
I think that's the first side.
Is it the first side?
I think
Okay.
it is.
I don't remember that one having a distinction between A and B. I just remember it being just like, this is the US side.
Because
this
the
is
other
UK
half,
side.
I think, starts with Funeral for a Friend.
Yeah. Well, all I know is that I had never heard that song before because I had never heard Empty Sky at that point. I didn't even know Empty Sky existed at that point. I was 6. And I only knew about, like, the big albums that were out. And that song was like, whoa, I thought it was a new Elton John song,
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I just thought it was so great. And then when I heard the album version, I was pretty underwhelmed, but yeah, this version will always be the definitive version of that song for me. I just,
Hot.
yeah. But number 2, also an album I had at the time, because you're going to have a difficult time finding people who didn't have it. Wings Over America!
I have seen so many copies of this in used record stores.
It was a gigantic record, and it was a 3-record
Couldn't
set.
get away from it, right?
Oh yeah, I couldn't
Yeah.
get away from it.
It was a 3-record set. Yeah, I mean, that was the first time I ever heard Maybe I'm Amazed.
Oh. Okay.
I hadn't heard it from the McCartney album yet. That my introduction to that song was this record, and I loved that song. That version of that song was probably my favorite song of 1976 in 1976. And
I have to go back and check that episode.
no, in 1976. I don't know. It wouldn't have been my favorite
Yeah.
now for that list, but if you'd asked me in 1976. But yeah, there was so much stuff I hadn't heard on this because I didn't have Venus and Mars, and a ton of that is on here. But yeah, it's just a great, like, McCartney in stadium rock mode.
It was good.
Possibly where the Beatles might have been at that point had they been a thing.
Yep.
But yeah, my number 1, an album that you may have known a few people who had a copy of this.
Maybe.
Maybe a few people bought it. Yeah, Frampton Comes Alive. I have. I'm a Frampton Comes Alive kid.
Yeah.
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Frampton Comes Alive kid. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, these songs were all over the radio, and I was 6, 7 years old hearing them, and I fucking loved the fuck out of this record, and I got a copy of it, and there's the part on "Do You Feel Like We Do," where I think I probably talked about this on the 76 albums of the year. I probably did. Did I? I may have. I may have already talked about this record, so I may have already told the story. But there was a Mondegreen. Well, it was a Mondegreen. There's when he's doing the talk box thing and he does "I wanna thank you." I thought he said "I wanna thank you." I wanna thank you. And I remember having kids over, like having like some friend from school, and be like, listen, this is what he says. This is what he says.
It's dirty. Oh man.
But yeah, Frampton Comes Alive. I mean, it's played out. It's woefully uncool to like the record, but it was a huge record for me at the time as a kid, and I still like it.
Is it uncool to like it?
It kind of is, yeah.
Is it? I never know what's cool anymore, honestly.
Maybe I'm just remembering the baggage from the time, and I
There was
haven't heard
certainly a
anybody
point when it
reassessing
wasn't cool, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know who even reassesses. Who gets the official job of reassessing at this point?
Yeah.
And determining.
Pitchfork.
Oh, well, fuck them.
Yeah.
Pitchfork.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So Frampton Comes Alive. That's my list.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
And I probably have some commercial. There's probably some Frampton Comes Alive related commercials.
Oh,
for that,
yeah,
right?
there
Maybe.
are.
Beat the
Probably.
whole
Hey, you want to see my XR7? You can see it Friday, the day of the new Mercury Cougar XR7, with a total new look for 77. Bolder, more of a Cougar than any Cougar before. And now, the XR7 comes with new Cougar running mates. Handsome 4-door sedans, 2-door hardtops, sporty Cougar wagons. See them Friday, the day of the cat.
What would you name a shampoo and a conditioner that not only get a girl's hair clean and shiny,
Gee, your hair smells terrific.
but leave it with a soft, young, fresh-smelling fragrance that's delightfully nice to be near?
Gee, your hair smells terrific.
Presenting Gee, Your Hair Smells Terrific. Very gentle fragrance shampoo and same fragrance conditioner. Try them both.
Gee.
Nothing but Frampton Comes Alive commercials.
Shit.
All right.
Oh,
We're back.
me?
Yeah, Tommy.
It's
my turn.
It's your turn.
It's my turn. Okay.
1976 us, dude.
I've got a mention. And my mention is Greatest Stories Live by Harry Chapin.
Oh.
And I wrote that there is a disorienting mix of truly gorgeous material here, along with obnoxious goofball bullshit that drags the whole record down. And I find that record doesn't know what it wants to be.
Good or bad?
Yeah, yeah.
Does it want to rule or does it want to suck?
It's confused. I'm not gonna dump all over Harry Chapin. I think it still makes me sad thinking about the guy killed in a car wreck on the fucking Long Island Expressway, and it's just awful. Just awful. But there's some really good stuff on there and a lot of stuff on there. I'm just like, what the fuck are you even doing? So for me, it's just a mention.
Okay.
My number 5 for my top 5. I only have a top 5 for 1976. I know. I kept my ass in control here.
Wow.
Number 5, yes, of course, it's Peter Frampton with Frampton Comes Alive.
Yeah.
Look, we're just not going to be able to do a 1976 live albums episode unless we talk
Love
about
that.
this. It's literally the elephant in this room.
It kind of is. It's
it
like
really
talking
is.
77 and not putting rumors, like
Yeah.
Yeah, shit like that.
Yeah.
So, my number 4, Wings with Wings Over America. I mean,
Yeah.
See, this is where that's the funny thing about with this point where we're at.
I know.
Things kind of unify here because this is where all the undeniables kind of start
yes,
coming
they
in.
really
Yeah.
do start showing
Yeah.
up, yeah. And speaking of, we have number 3, Elton John with Here and There. I was not aware of the existence of it until I worked on 1976 and I listened to this album and I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah. It's still not as great as 11/17/70, but it's still
It's-
great.
But I mean, the thing is if you think about the songs that now are available to him
Right.
for this live set,
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God.
Right.
So my number 2, I hear what you're saying about the sound quality, but I still think it's awesome. Rush, all the world's a stage.
Okay.
I see. I am more prone to giving a pass to the sound quality of a live album if everything else that I need is there, because I understand it's inherently going to be a flawed sonic document.
Well, I agree with that, and oftentimes that would be the case for me. This one, just the issues with this one in particular, I couldn't get past because it wasn't like bad. It wasn't really. It was just so shrill to me, and there was no bass, and I couldn't get past it.
I know, but there's magic on this. I mean, you're hearing Geddy in his fucking prime, and they do all of 2112 on
But
this.
I'm not hearing him.
On vocally.
vocally.
I mean,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
going up there, and he's just camping out up there, and then he wakes up the next morning and goes higher, and you're hearing him do that live, and it's just like,
Yeah.
God damn, I guess I can overlook the fact that it kind of sounds a little shitty because it's just crazy as far as a live record goes. The shit that the performances they capture. But yeah, it's very flawed.
Yeah.
Speaking of something that is very, very flawed, that leads me to my number 1. And it's my number 1 in spite of that, and that would be Led Zeppelin, but the song remains the same. Now, Crystal had brought this up back when we were talking about 73 because, and she isn't wrong, it is a document of their 1973 tour. It's recorded in 1973 at Madison Square Garden, but because of the endless fucking delays behind actually making the film that it was supposed to be a part of, it did not come out until 1976. And it has been criticized ever since as not being the best representation of Led Zeppelin live. I don't dispute that for a second. They are a little bit ramshackle at times. They seem a little ragged and tired at times. And in spite of all that, I still fucking love it. And I've talked about my feelings on Led Zeppelin before, where as long as it's not Presence or much of Coda, there is a magic to Led Zeppelin that I just can't even describe. It's like when I talked about Physical Graffiti, there's like this dark magic, there's this energy, there's this aura that record has that's just captivating, and it draws me in. And to a small degree, I get some of that from Song Remains the Same, even though it's kind of a sloppy mess. It's like, but I love this sloppy mess, you know, because there's moments all throughout it that are just so fucking awesome. The point where Jimmy Page has got the bow and with the freaking Echoplex going, and it's just, oh my God, I'm just like, oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Well, when you're really young, you can get really caught up in it because... I know, I'm not saying, like, I'm just saying, I remember seeing it, the film, when I was really little, and being just like really getting caught up into all that in that kind of stuff. It isn't until you get older that you really understand what the shortcomings are.
Well, sure.
But by then, it's kind of in your blood.
It's in my blood. And I saw this for the first time in, like, high school or something. And, it would have been in the very early 90s when I was getting into Zeppelin. And I saw this, I don't know how I saw it. Maybe we even rented it at the video store or some shit. And I watched the movie before I'd even heard the soundtrack album. And I was just like, blah! But keep in mind, this is before I even started playing music myself.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I'm not coming at it like with this critical ear and saying, well, blah, 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 blah. If you listen to the bootleg from this show, there was so much more on fire than here, and this is da da da. I'm just like, wow! And like all the sequences between the movie, you know, with Paige climbing the fucking mountain and seeing the old man from the tarot card, and
I was just like, have the purple eyes.
Yeah, I was just like,
acid.
and then of course because I was such a freaking gearhead when I was a kid, like this scene where Bonham is fucking with the drag car, the dragster, and I'm like, oh, it's fucking amazing. He's into dragster.
It's made
cars.
for
Like,
boys.
Yeah, I mean it was just, and it worked on me because I was like fucking 13.
Yeah.
So
you're a sitting duck.
It's in my blood, and yeah, it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I still fucking love it anyway.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just love something that's not perfect, you know?
Well, you know, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Not a goddamn thing.
Nothing.
What are you gonna do?
With your life.
Rock! All right, rock! So that's, okay, all right. So, little break here, little break.
I want to talk to you about loneliness. Do you want to get rid of the blues? Then step into a pair of super white denim jeans from Miller's Outpost. If you hurry, you don't have to spend $18 or $20. In fact, for just $9.97, you can have the hottest pant look this side of winter. Sensational white denim jeans for both guys and gals with classy navy blue detailing. See what happens when you get rid of the blues at Miller's Outpost. Don't mess up my hair.
I dropped this big lighter in a can of paint this morning. Now it's working fine.
Oscar's always had the problem of keeping his grip when he flicks his Bic.
That truck ran over my big lighter. But even under tremendous pressure, I can still flick my Bic.
Licking your Bic has become America's favorite pastime, so we hear lots of stories about people whose Bics flick through thin and thick.
Last year I lost this planting potatoes. Now I just found it. Can you imagine what it's like not to flick your Bic for a whole year?
Well, all right. Time to hate? You gonna hate? If you're gonna hate, all right. Let's see. We got Crystal's gonna hate first.
Does anybody remember Laughter? I'm bringing it back again.
Bringing it back.
This is when it was released, and it didn't get any better.
So you're gonna dump on it a second time?
I'm gonna dump on it twice. It's so nice to dump on. I'm doing it twice.
Because it ain't nice, you're gonna dump on it twice.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're wrong though.
All right, whatever. That's fine. That's your opinion, and that's okay. You can have an opinion because opinions are like assholes, and everybody's.
Everyone is one.
No, I was doing salt and pepper.
I know.
Yeah. So that's it. That's all I got for that.
All right.
Well.
Yeah. Seemed like he was asking that in
Oh,
desperation.
shit. Okay, that's mine. Okay.
Come on, Paul.
Well,
Yeah, Paul.
What you got, Paul?
I have one. I have just one.
Just one.
I just one.
Just
one
one.
album. That's all it took. Yeah. Seals and Cross with Sudan Village.
I couldn't even bring myself to
Whoa.
mention this.
No, I didn't know this existed.
Oh,
I missed
yeah.
this one.
Well, okay, now this record is sort of a part. I have a weird sort of. I have a history with it of sorts, but not even with the music on it. When I was a kid, really, a lot of my getting into music took place at my grandma Bertolino's place. And I had my Uncle Dino there, and my Aunt Vivian, and they were teenagers. They were, Uncle Dino was probably, I don't know how, he wasn't that much older than me, but he was significantly older, but to where he had records and stuff even when I was like 3, so he would have, he's the one who had Dark Side of the Moon when it came out, he's the one who had Houses of the Holy when it came out, which is how I knew that these records existed when they were new, because he had them. Well, he also had this, and I would hear these other, I would hear Dark Side of the Moon, I would hear Houses of the Holy, or, Derringer Live, I remember he had that one, and I would hear that. This record was just always there in his bedroom. It was just, he never played it. I never played it, because I would play records in his room too. He wouldn't be home, and I would be there, and I would put on his records, and that one just sat there, and I would stare at the cover and be like, what is this? Who is this? But there was something about it that I never ever put it on the turntable. Never once listened to a note of it, and I looked at that 1,000 times growing up as a little kid. Like that, the cover of that album takes me right to Dino's room, mid-70s. Absolutely. So finally, doing this list, I went, I'm going to listen to this fucking album. I have never listened to a note of this.
Okay.
And I put it on, and it was like, oh, for fuck's sake. It was just, I don't know what's going on. Like, they're not doing Summer Breeze, they're not doing Diamond Girl. It's just all this just other random material that you have no connection with. I mean, maybe if you're really deep in with them. And it was just, it was just kind of, I just found it kind of terrible. It was like nothing, it didn't in any way make me go, oh, where's this album been all my life? It was like, oh, that's why Dino never played it. That's why it was every other record was being played, but not this one.
Not even good enough to roll a joint on.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Surely he was doing that, but yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, it's just sort of like a record that I finally listened to after decades, and boy, that would be a no.
Oh well.
All right.
What you got, Tommy?
Well, I've got a bottom 5 again for 1976, and my number 5 would be Live Bullet, Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. And I wrote,
we didn't see this coming at all.
I wrote, if you like this record, you received your AARP card in your 20s.
Blink, blink, blink. What?
Look, all right, so...
Wow.
All right, here's the thing about this record. This record came out as a live document at a point in his career right before he started dropping songs that I actually do dig.
Well, that's at his early Seger.
Yes.
That's like before he really hit.
Yeah, which is funny that you say it's early Seger because this is a good 10 plus years.
Well,
into
he had his
career.
60s era, but I mean, like, this is pre, like,
Early 70s.
hitting it big.
Yeah.
You know, he hadn't broken through yet.
But it's like after this, which I assume this was a very, very popular album for him. And after this, he continued to put out more albums, and then he starts putting out songs that's like, oh, but if I was to put together a Seger playlist, it would consist of mostly shit from after this point in time.
Yeah.
So the playlist, for the most part, is not doing anything for me. And unfortunately, and it's no fault of Seger and his band or even the songs, but when I hear this album, I just think of like Ford truck commercials, and not even talking about Like a Rock when he sold that to GMC. I'm just talking about like, it makes me think of the kind of music they put in like car commercials now to pander to 60-year-olds, and it just makes me not think of good things. And I wish I could put it better than I'm capable of, but unfortunately they didn't send a poet. So you got Tommy, and this is the best he can do. But it just doesn't make me feel really positive feelings. So,
okay, but you're wrong.
She just came, but you wrong-load me. Oh, all right. My number 4, I've got Roxy Music with Viva Roxy Music. And I wrote, so apparently I don't like Roxy Music.
Okay.
Well, now
Is that the only Roxy music you've ever listened to?
Nah, I've heard some other shit. But
No. Have you listened to their albums?
I mean, not like entirely, but I've heard some other songs.
Okay, listen to their albums. This is not a good...
I really don't see Tommy liking them, though.
You can't just let me have the joke, though. It's the joke. It's the funny joke. I say funny things.
Yeah, I know.
I'm over here
there.
saying funny things
I
like
get
a fucking
over
clown.
There, over here, the clown. Am I a clown for you? No, I know that he won't like it, but at least.
But listen to it anyway, she says.
But listen to it anyway because you. Never mind. Go ahead. What's next?
All right, what the fuck is next? All right, number 3, Jay Giles Band would Blow Your Face Out. And I wrote, apparently I only like Centerfold.
Well, the 70s Jay Giles is a whole different thing.
It is not for
it's
me.
It's an entirely different thing.
It is not for me.
Yeah.
All right, then we have number 2, The Stooges with Metallic KO. And I wrote, this is just sloppy noise.
You're
not wrong.
And they're like, we like it anyway. Fuck off, dude.
Anyway.
We like our sloppy noise.
I listen
More
to Can,
sloppy noise for us.
He listens to Can.
I do.
All right, so my number 1 worst live album for 1976, we've got Commander Cody and his Lost Planet Airmen with We've Got a Live One Here. And my response that I wrote was, we've got a live one? Well, kill it with fire. And that's me. And scene.
Yeah. Well.
He is that it for him? Is this the last?
I think there's more shit, but I think at this point I stopped paying attention.
It's not going to pop up because nobody knows about it.
No.
It wasn't actually, it didn't go out into consciousness.
It wasn't inflicted on as many people.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, everybody. Commercial time.
Friday, a Halloween special starring Paul Lynde. Turning myself on. And his special guests, Tim Conway, Florence Henderson, Donnie and Marie Osmond, Pinky Tuscadero, and the incredible Kids. Then, Rosemary's Baby has come of age.
For a birthday boy.
Satan has come to reclaim his son.
No!
Due to mature subject matter, parental discretion is advised. Look what's happened to Rosemary's Baby right after Paul Lynde.
Friday starting at 8, 7 Central and Mountain on ABC.
All right. Well, welcome back. And, just in time to get us out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, 1976 is over and done.
Mm-hmm.
And, all right. Yeah. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Click a little bell, all that shit.
Yada, yada.
But, and here's the big thing right here.
I was getting ready to say, if you say here's a big butt, I was going to punch you in your face.
Damn it, because I was going to say that.
I'll punch both of you.
She was inevitably going to punch both of us
I
anyway.
have much... the tea I have to spill is far past that.
Oh.
And that is... Come back next week, because we are going to be discussing our favorite live albums of 1977.
Wow.
Yeah.
I am shooketh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You, sir, have
You didn't see that
surprised
coming.
us both.
You did not see that
I
coming.
had no idea.
We didn't. Crystal, did you see that shit coming?
No, I thought it was going to be something else.
I think you should probably just
Something
punch him
else.
right in the face over that shit.
As long as he's not talking about my ass, it's fine.
Oh my god, why would you think he was talking about your ass?
Because he said big.
No, because the big butt thing is just somebody always says that when you said here's a big butt, it's a big butt.
Big butt.
Big butt, it's a thing.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, Crystal is not here to play.
Okay.
I feel I'm about to get punched in the face.
No.
Everybody's getting punched in the face here at World's Famous Acid Tribute Studios.
There's enough to go around.
Would you like to get punched in the face? Comment below. If you
Come to New York and spend a fabulous weekend here with us at
World Famous Acid Tribute Studios.
Getting punched in the
Punch in the
face.
face.
Yeah.
You get punched in the face, and you get punched in the face.
And
You're
so
all
on,
getting
and
punched
so
in the
on,
face.
and so on, and so on.
Yes.
All right. See you next week, I hope.
Roger.
Genius.
All right. You can always tell when the last episode of the day is happening. It's like...
It's in the air. We're just like, all right, one more and we get the fuck out of here.
I'm not even really that tired. These have gone by pretty quickly.
We're kind of, yeah, well, that's just it. I mean, what time is it? Like 4?
4:53.
10 to 5.
10 to 5.
Oh, so it's 5.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
We'll be wrapping up at 5:30.
Yeah.
Which is
With
gorgeous.
having done way more episodes than we normally do.
Yep.
Yup.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Well, all right!